Good evening, everyone. Thursday night here on the channel, that means Redline Racing, Cory Harts Media Premier Series racing action, going dirt racing for the first time in 2 seasons here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Some technical issues here on the league side of things, slowing us down a bit. So now you see we're already into qualifying. We'll quickly get you through a look at the top 5 here and set up tonight's race. 150 laps on tap here at the last Great Coliseum. Nick Miller, who's shown some great pace here and is our Season 5 Series champion, sitting at the top of the leaderboard there, just ahead of Dylan Ault, who went to victory lane at this track the last time we were here, back at season number 4. Aaron Brown showing speed early on here in qualifying, great time for him, not too far away from Miller's pace. And then Cody Webster, Michael Rosero, who's finally broken through and gone to victory lane. He finds himself sitting in 5th position. Magnum Tate, Luke Peters, Eric Keplinger, who's been having a strong season here, inside the top 10 in the points. Josh Kosick and Cory Harts, your top 10. Further back, Rocky Boy to 3rd, Luke Lofaro. Blaze Brinkley, who has a win this season back at Chicagoland. Latham Joyner, who ran very well back at Dover last week. And then moving them down is Alexander Hayter, clocking in 13th. And then Justin Rector back to 16th place. Hunter Terpstra, the 38th, back there, completing the number of drivers who've logged time so far. At least one car still out there right now. Parker White looking to clock in here and get his time on the board. We know Parker is very fast here around these different tracks, so we'll see what he can do. But we also know he has a tendency to try and put a time up, and then the time doesn't go through, and he just works his way to the front here. So, again, back dirt racing, the first time we're running here in this league, in this car, the next-gen car making his debut here in the Cory Harts Media Premier Series on dirt. And for some of these drivers, it's the first time they're in this league in dirt, because it's been over a year since the last time we've run the dirt track here. Back in March of 2021, we ran this track 110 laps, and Dylan Ault led a majority of those laps there. 83 of 110 led by him, and already looking to try and rack up and regain some momentum here. He had a great run going at Dover last week, but ultimately ended up finishing second there. Overtime finish, allowing for Jordan Kuntz to get his 3rd win of the season, 2 in a row, and 2nd straight at Dover Motor Speedway. Right now, he has yet to clock in a time on the board as we're sitting here again. 18 times have been logged so far this evening in qualifying, and not too far away from the end of qualifying here. Probably about another 30 so seconds left as we get ready for more dirt track racing. And we'll go through a lot of what to expect out of tonight's race as we get ready for the setup here presented by Jones Racing Setups. You know, I'm really excited to see how these drivers do on this track. It wasn't too long ago we saw the Truck Series and the Cup Series running on Bristol dirt, and maybe some of the drivers participating in tonight's race took some notes and understood some things from those drivers on this surface to be able to bring that insight here. I think you're going to see these drivers fighting to try and get that outside line working, to swing around here. A lot of drivers to watch in this field, some faces that I think could really make some move toward the front. Nick Miller had a great run here back to last time we were here in Season 4, finishing in 2nd position. Dylan Ault, as I mentioned before, he has won this race before, and now we're getting ready for what should be an exciting night of racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And we got our pole sitter finally set up here. It's a long race name here. It is the Circle B Diecast Bristol Dirt Race, but there will be one driver starting on the front row for tonight's race. It can be that guy right there in the 19, Nick Miller, who we haven't seen a lot of this season, but when he has shown up, he has shown speed here, and he has now put that car on the front row for tonight's race, so it's exciting to see him running well here. The last time we saw him was back, I think, at Coda, actually. Now, showing some pace here. He had a great battle with Jordan Kuntz, and now he'll look to start on the front row for tonight's Circle B Diecast Bristol Dirt Race. On the outside, joining him will be Dylan Ault, the winner of this race back in season number 4. Aaron Brown, great speed out of him, starting 3rd. Cody Webster, Michael Rosero, your top 5. Magnum Tate back in 6th position. Luke Peters, Eric Keplinger, Josh Kosick, and Cory Harts, your top 10. Rocky Boy to 3rd, back in 11th. Luke Lofaro, Alexander Hayter starting a little deeper in the field than we're used to seeing him back in 13th. Blaze Brinkley, Latham Joyner back to 15th. Justin Rector, Hunter Terpstra, the 38 back there, making his first start of the season in 18th. Jordan Kuntz deep in the field for our points leader in 19th. He finished 10th in this race after starting on the pole in season number 4. Zachary Thornton 20th. John Jones, Parker, Colton Light, and Parker White is going to go ahead and set our field here of 23 starters for tonight's race here at the Bristol dirt track. And let's go ahead and walk you through what to expect out of our evening here at the track. It's 150 laps, so you're looking at about 40 more laps than we did the last time we were here in season number 4, coming out to just shy of 80 miles around this 0.53 mile circuit, or 0.86 for our fans of the metric system. That's in kilometers there. 22 to 24 degrees of banking around this track normally when we have our asphalt configuration, which we'll be running on next week, but a little bit lower banking here. But it'll be very interesting seeing these drivers move across this surface trying to find that grip. That's not a typo. 0 tire sets. Hearing from the drivers that the tires really don't matter here, but in any case, you're going to have to manage them here in the stage length. 45 laps for these drivers as you get ready for the green flag. You see there, the 40 went to victory lane the last time we were here back on March 18th, so it's been over a year since these drivers have run on dirt. As we mentioned, let's go and talk about those keys to the race here. This setup presented by Jones Racing Setups is back to dirt track racing. This is a detour for these guys. We haven't run this in over 2 seasons now. Well, just over 2 seasons now. Here into season 6, here we are again, bringing this next-gen car to do some dirt track racing. As I mentioned, no tire sets waiting for these drivers on pit road, so they'll have to manage their equipment. The other thing is, I'm not going to see any cautions for any single car incidents, most likely, so I want to keep it out of the wall there and keep that car in tip-top shape to survive this race. More laps could be more problems for these guys. 110 laps was the distance last time we were here in season 4. That's now been up to 150 for these drivers. And starting way back in the field is the 99 of Jordan Kuntz. Starting back in 18th. Can anyone match his pace right now? While he's starting deep, he comes in as the driver to watch right now. Has won 2 of the last 3 races and has 6 wins overall this season back at Atlanta, Coda, and then most recently at Dover. And in the last time we were here, he started on the pole and finished 10th. Here at Bristol. You ready for the green flag? You hear him calling it out. We're underway here at Bristol. Let's get this show on the road as we rock and roll around turns 1 and 2. And already getting out front, you see Nick Miller trying to get away from Dylan Ault. And they're going to be 3 wide, working down into turn number 3. Thundering through, dropping back will be the 19, but Aaron Brown trying to lead a lap here. He will not be able to do it that time, though, as Dylan Ault will get to the lead here as these drivers are already kicking around their dirt here at Bristol. 1 car off the pace on the low side of the track. A lot of damage to his car. Aaron Brown goes around, car into the wall there. He talked about keeping that car clean here, and you see him into the wall, and we'll get our eyes back on the race lead because now cycling around, the 23 will grab the lead coming off turn 4, and he'll move to the point here. Already a win this season back at Bristol Speedway, his first in the Premier Series, and now looking to try and build on it here. But down to the inside, the 5 of Magnum Tate fighting with Luke Peters just behind him, roughly about half a second back, as the 40 falls back to the 4th position here. Already seeing this field getting really strung out here as a result of kind of the start of this race here, and now we'll see if this trend continues as the 50 closes up here. Luke Peters now trying to close up there, using that lower side of the track to try and catch up to that number 23 of Michael Rizzero. Already finding some speed out there for him, though. He's sliding away here. The gap now about 0.3 of a second as we're back behind the pace car for the first time this evening. I'll float the splash screen here for a minute to take care of one quick thing while we now are back behind the pace car here. Looks like Colton Lights parked on pit road. A lot of damage to his car. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to him there. So jump into the pits here. Caution is out. And we'll take a look at the replay here. You see a big pile up there, multi-car incident here. Well, we rewind it back a little bit to get a better understanding of what happened there. So it seemed like there's kind of a stack up there going all the way back to the middle of turns 1 and 2. You see that number 61, and we're working that middle groove here right behind Jordan Kuntz. This gets a little bit sideways there, right in front of Alexander Hayter, and just kind of sends over the track into the path of the 18, and then ping-pongs into the 3, and then just a big pile up there. A couple of cars involved in that one down the low side of the track up on the backstretch. Live pictures here on pit road sits that 61, a lot of damage to his car, but leading this race. As we take a quick pause here from just one thing. When things get off sequence and your show gets kind of bumped around, you have to deal with these things on the fly. So let me take a quick pause, throw the splash screen for a minute, and take care of one quick thing. All right, so we got that taken care of here. Some mild technical issue, having to switch rooms. There's some things get overlooked when you're switching rooms here, but back behind the pace car for the first time this evening. Got about 5 or 6 laps in there on that long little run. Saw some drivers fall back very quickly in the middle of this race. Saw Dylan Ault fall back to third position, has clawed back somewhat there. Cars already looking like they've gone through a war. We're only 7 laps into the race here. I think that trend is going to continue as this race goes on. Further back in the field, Aaron Brown, you saw him be caught up in that incident that brought out the yellow flag, a lot of damage to his car. He's got that fixed up now. He's back out on the track, rejoining the field. Other drivers making quick stops here. Alexander Hayter, Latham Joyner also popping in the pit road, getting that car fixed up, and Justin Rector making a stop here. So behind the pace car, lights are on still, so at least one more lap. Hopefully we'll get that one to go signal this time. We'll get everyone formed back up and get some great racing here on the track. Rosero out front right now. And you know, it's not usual seeing him up front. He finds his way to lead races in these lead laps in these races, but hasn't been able to close the gap there and break through. That is until we got to Auto Club, where he was able to punch that ticket to victory lane in Fontana, getting that first win of his career here in the Premier Series. You know, he's a decorated winner back in the Truck Series here in the family of leagues here with Cory Harts Media and the Redline Racing League. He was part of that big three we watched in the Truck Series between Michael Rosero, Parker White, and Jordan Kuntz during that season. That was a phenomenal season of racing in those trucks there for the series, and that was really fun to call. So now seeing that 23 back on the track, blinking here and there, but hopefully he'll stay with us to continue to give us a thrilling race here. And then further back behind him, you see Luke Peters working his way into the picture, already up 5 spots so far here as we get ready for what should be the restart next time by. Seeing some dirt track skills come out in some of these drivers, and I think that's what's going to be really fun to watch this evening. Which of these drivers kind of has that secret talent for dirt track racing is going to be able to bring their cars to the front as this run goes on. As I mentioned, this race is a little bit longer this season, 150 laps compared to 110. So this could work in the favor of some of these drivers here. We'll be watching Luke Peters and others as we get ready for the restart. Another driver we'll be watching is that one right there, the 95, that black car, Parker White, already up 18 positions so far tonight. A very talented racer. Last season you saw him do a lot of great things. Let's see what he can do here this evening as we get ready for the restart. Pace car working its way through turns 3 and 4 right now. Get our eyes on there. You see him working across that banking. The truck going to go ahead and break off and head into pit road here, getting ready for the green flag again. They roar back to life here at Bristol Motor Speedway. He's getting real hectic back there. That's a stack up right there across the finish line. Barrel rolling. There's a Mustang there. We stay green here as all chaos breaks out there right at the front of the field. A lot of cars involved in that one. We'll have to take a look at that restart again and see what happened there, but still green here right now. 11 laps in, around goes the 19 off the bumper of, looks like the 20 there. Another car goes around here, parked at the top of the track is the 19 who got turned there coming off turn number 4. We stay green here again. Speaking to the administrators, they said there will only be a caution flag if there's a multi-car incident. There is that yellow flag coming out for the second time this evening, and man, there was a lot of chaos brewing there from the second that we got the green flag to begin this second bit of the race. We'll go ahead and just go ahead and rack back and look at kind of that restart there. So you see the pace truck heading in, and then it looks like the just a bit of an issue there coming off the start-finish line. We'll look from a different angle and you can figure out who was involved in that one. Like Cory Harts on his side there. That is not where you want to be. You see a bunch of cars coming to a stop there. That's Eric Keplinger and Alexander Hayter coming to a stop as all that broke out. So we'll look at it again from above. That Ford there, you see him in a Toyota. The 57 just caught up in that incident there. Nowhere for him to go. Caught up on the wall there. A lot of damage to the 20 as well. And now we'll go a little further ahead. So we saw the 19 get involved in a little bit of a tangle there. Like the 21 working through the corners. We get our eyes on him. The 21 gets up into him, and that just results in the contact there. Around he goes, gets spun around by that 21, putting him up into the wall, and then you see the caution flag coming out here again early on in our race. So 19 parked there against the wall as drivers now continue to cycle around. We'll see if we can get our eyes on what happened to bring out that yellow specifically there. So it looks like this incident here with the 19 was the catalyst for that yellow flag here as he got back going. The yellow flag was issued by race control, and they were back behind a pace car for the second time this evening. Back out front, still Michael Rosero, Dylan Ault back in the second position where he found himself starting the evening. And then Parker White now up 20 positions so far this evening. Magnum Tate, Aaron Brown back into the top 5. Luke Lofaro, Blaze Brinkley, your winner at Chicagoland in 7th. Zachary Thornton, Cody Webster, and Cory Harts, your top 10. So we're already 15 laps in. 2 caution flags slowing the pace of the race here. And This is basically what I expected to see going into this race. These cars are a handful to drive on just regular conditions when we're going to an asphalt track or even a road course, but this is a whole new beast with these drivers in. You always wonder how much experience do these drivers have bringing these cars to a dirt track here. It's a really new opportunity for them to learn and show their skills, but we're seeing some drivers struggle here already. Several drivers already out of the race. Josh Kosick out of the race. Luke Peters, like he's out of the race. And Colton Lights out. And then Rocky Boyd down one lap here already. But looking at the field, looks like we have 19 cars still on the lead lap so far. So a good field still left, but already seeing some cars drop out here, probably due to damage right now. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of a run here where we can see these drivers really be able to show their skills. It looks like we got the one to go signal. Lights are out on the truck and around the track, and it's gonna be a single file restart here. So we're going back Winston Cup style for this restart as we get ready to bring everyone around through turns 3 and 4 this time. Let's see if this is a cleaner restart for these drivers as we get ready for the green flag. The pace truck will go ahead and head in to the pits here in a moment, and we'll get the field back under the control of Mike Rozzero. He's roaring back to life. We're back underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway, down to turn 1, sliding through as a 23. Got a nice little lead there. You see that wheel working in the hands of Rozzero coming through turns 1 and 2. Already seeing going to the high side there is Dylan Ault kicking it up there as they race for second. Parker White down to the low side. That is 21 positions gained for the 95. Heading off in pursuit of race leader Michael Rozzero. That is very familiar company for the 95. These drivers raced each other very hard back in the Truck Series a few seasons ago, and now see them dueling here again, eventually for the lead as they work their way around turns 3 and 4. Getting right up in that wall, showering sparks as that 40 car of Dylan Ault as they sail off into turn number 1. Watch us battle for the lead here. Things shuffling up there way in the back. Another yellow flag here. This is turning into a yellow flag marred event. And that's not what you want to see here, especially early on in the race here. Caution flag back out, lap number 19. Not too far away from halfway in the stage, which ends at the end of lap 25. We're going to take a look and see what happened there. We saw a bunch of cars kind of involved in that one. Let's see if we can glean what brought out this latest yellow flag. Got our eyes on these drivers here working their way through. So you see a bunch of cars already around there. The 11 of Blaze Brinkley. A lot of damage to these cars. These cars are sliding down the bank. Go and look at it one more time. So we're way back here, working our way through turns 3 and 4 here. It's like a 20 just got into a car there and just touched off this big crash here. And Haters gets kind of get collected up in it. Nowhere for him to go. Just gets, it almost felt like Dover. Just cars just get kind of forced into each other. They just slide down the bank and there's nowhere for you to go in that situation. Look at it again here. So another caution here. 3 already tonight. Not even 2 dozen laps into our night here at Bristol. The car is back on pit road here. Some drivers who have yet to come to pit road include your race leaders, Michael Rozzero, Parker White, Dylan Ault have yet to make a pit stop here. And to come in, Magnum Tate as well has yet to come onto pit road, along to 38. You see them working their way up turn number 4. Down the low side, trying to 95. Parker White up on the high side in that red and white car. That is the 40 of Dylan Ault. Aaron Brown, after his troubles, has found his way back into the top 5 here. He's had some challenges here, including being caught up in that first caution of the night. Nowhere for him to go, caught up in that crash, and now has gotten himself back into this picture inside the top 5 in 4th position. Magnum Tate sitting in 5th, up one spot as well. Nick Miller, the pole sitter, kind of beat around a little bit here in the opening 20 or so laps. He's now sitting back in the 6th position, down from where he started on the pole here this evening. While Parker White has been moving his way up through the field, other drivers moving up very nicely so far as they've run. John Jones scored the 10th position in the 15. He's now moved up just about 11 positions here, so nearly a dozen spots in hand for him. Now looking to grab the 38 and the 3 as we get ready for the restart here. Cody Webster down 7 in the 11th position, and then Eric Keplinger down 4 with Alexander Hayter hanging on to 13th spot. It's where he started the evening. So pace car lights are out, the lights are off around the track. That means we're gonna get the green flag here, single file restart. We'll see if this helps the drivers be able to get some runs in here. We've seen cautions kind of just break out after 2 or 3 laps here when they start getting in a bit of a more racy conditions. We'll see if this will allow them to be able to get their rhythm and get a decent green flag run in here. We've only gotten a handful of laps each of these runs, and we're already 23 laps into our night here. Pace truck making its way into the pits. Down the track they come to the start-finish line. We're back underway on lap number 24. See them sliding along that wall. They're getting real close to it as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Pace truck gets in position. Going to park, and hopefully he'll stay there for a while so we get some great racing here. You got a 4-car battle for the lead. Down the middle goes the Dylan Ault machine, trying to make it 3 wide. It almost like it was 4 wide for a minute there. Down through the middle goes the 40, and around goes the 23. Violent crash for him there as he gets spun around to getting kind of hip checked there, working for the lead. And he's just stuck up there, nowhere for him to go, and it's going to touch off a multi-car crash right in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Caution flag back out here for the 4th time this evening, and we're only 26 laps in. We kind of watched that whole thing break out there with Michael Rosero getting that hip check as they were working through the corner, battling for the lead, and then resulted in him getting caught up in a crash as he sat there trying to get that car going again. We'll go ahead and look at that again and see what happens. So watch them working their way around this corner. This is a great battle that was brewing here, coming to the start-finish line. It was a great show for us as we were watching, but we wanted to see it finish clean there. But just maybe some net code there from the 40, sitting him up into the wall. Couldn't get it down the track to try and get it going. It's hard to get that car moving, and it's just really just in the wrong place for a long time. The 57 and the 91 make contact, and it's just on from there. The yellow flag comes out. That's our 4th caution flag this evening here at Bristol, and unfortunately it feels like this will be our trend this evening. Just multiple yellow flags slowing the pace of this race, and looking back at the front as a result, race leader is now Dylan Ault, up 1 spot from where he started in 2nd, and then Aaron Brown and Parker White. A challenging night for these drivers here, and back out front trying to lead this race is Dylan Ault. It's something he did a lot last time we were here in season number 4. Slightly different configuration to this track as well. Not sure if that's playing a factor into how the racing is right now, but in any case, when we were here in season 4, Dylan Ault was able to lead over 80 laps, 83 to be exact, and is en route to that win during season 4. That was 110 laps there, so a little bit longer of a race this season here, and you're seeing some drivers who did really well in that race have challenges and issues early on. Nick Miller, who is now back up to the 4th position after falling back in the field on the start and then being caught up in some incidents as this race went on. He's now back in the 4th. He finished 2nd the last time we were here. Good run for him there. And then further back, Sartaj Man is someone we like to watch. They're running a part-time campaign, so he's not in this race. Someone who is Cory Harts, who finished inside the top 5 the last time we ran this race. But right now, he finds himself well behind that group, 13th right now, involved in an earlier incident. That car was practically sideways, maybe even landed on his roof here or there. That car has been through some things, and we're only 29 laps in. We'll see if he can find some pace here to be able to try and get this race going in the right direction for him. Out front right now, Dylan Ault leading this thing. We got the pace car lights out. The caution lights are on around the track. That means we'll get the restart here. Single file yet again. So again, as I call it, Winston Cup style racing here as we get ready for the green flag. Dylan Ault already has 2 stage wins this season, tied with Jordan Coots entering tonight's race. Can he break through and get a 3rd stage win to take the lead in that regard? We'll find out. Still searching for his first win of season 6 is that 40 car. We're back underway. Lap number 30 underway. Race down to turn number 1, side by side through the field. Back at the front, battle for the lead underway. Aaron Brown taking it to the 40, side by side through turns 3 and 4, getting into fray as well as that 95 of Parker White and his Toyota. You got a whole herd of Toyotas looking to fight that one Camaro on the outside. That's Dylan Ault kicking it sideways there. They race their way off of turn number 2, gets sideways there. Around goes the 18. Aaron Brown gets turned around there, trying to race for the position. He's stuck on the inside of the track. Dylan Ault now back into 3rd position as Parker White and Nick Miller capitalizing that battle to grab 1st and 2nd respectively. It's been a while since Parker White's been in the victory lane. I want to say during the chase last season, the last time we saw that 95 chase victory during the playoffs. Now he's back out front leading this thing with the series champion from Season 5 right behind him, Nick Miller, in hot pursuit in second position, your pole sitter for tonight's race, looking to try and grab the race lead away, all while Dylan Ault tried to drive up and catch both of them. Aaron Brown for racing for the lead there momentarily has found himself way back in the 16th position, trying to sail his way around the outside of Alexander Hayter. You're really just trying to figure out where to go. There's another car goes around just behind. Looks like that's the 21 having issues there. I'm sorry, not 21. I apologize. That is not the 21. The driver having issues there toward the back of the field. The 12 now going around. Zachary Thornton having issues now, making one of his first starts in a little while. He's taken a couple of provisionals the last couple of weeks, and now he gets spun around, and he'll go a lap down here. The driver's just really struggling here on this dirt surface right now. Zachary Thornton among them. Parker White kicking that thing around, scraping the wall as he now leads here at Bristol Motor Speedway, getting right up next to the wall there, scraping it a bit, kicking off it as well. I want to knock the toe out of that thing and mess up the handling, but he does not seem to care right now. Working around that outside, and right up there in that dirt there, along with the 40 trying to follow in his tire tracks, and they pull away nicely from Nick Miller. That's about a 1.3 second gap between Nick Miller and Dylan Ault, and then it's nearly 2 seconds to the race leader, Parker White, who has gained 22 spots tonight. They have cleared Magnum Tate here. You see him just coming off through the start-finish line toward 1. That's a 4-second gap to the back bumper of Nick Miller as the caution flag is back out here for the 5th time this evening. Damage there on Alexander Hayter's car. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to bring out this yellow flag. Eyes on him, just like him and Aaron Brown right around each other there. You see Aaron Brown goes on the outside. Brown goes to the 18, right into the path of the 84. It would send him right into the tire barrier there. So Aaron Brown's night just goes from bad to worse. You see the leader passing him. We now go a lap down, and the pace car is back on the track here yet again. So 38 laps into our evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's 5 cautions in 38 laps. That is not a statistic I wanted to share with you this evening, but it is a statistic that is in front of us here this evening. Parker White out front, gaining 22 spots in his pursuit of a race win here this evening, getting ahead of the driver who started on the outside of the front row, Dylan Ault. Nick Miller back in the fray after starting on the front row, falling back on the first lap in 3rd. Magnum Tate, Cory Harts completing the top 5. Once we get back, hopefully we'll see, I'll check in with the race stewards, see where this puts us in terms of the stage. We'll likely get a restart here right at the end of the stage and probably get right back behind the pace car, but we'll check in on that. I'll take a quick step away to go ahead and see about that. But right now, Parker White, your race leader here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the dirt track, putting on a phenomenal show this evening. All right, getting ready for the restart here. Haven't gotten confirmation from the stewards on exactly how this upcoming stage car is going to work. I assume we will go ahead, once we complete lap number 45, we'll get back behind the pace car again for the 6th time this evening and go ahead and rack everyone up and get ready for the end of this race here. So we'll see if Parker White can break through and get himself a stage win. Pace car lights are out, and we're getting ready for the restart. Single file again. Haven't had a double file restart since pretty much the start of the race. We'll see if that trend changes once we get to the end of the stage. Right now, waiting for the pace truck to make its way back into the pits, the field back under the control of Parker White. They dive down the banking and get the green flag. We're back underway. Lap number 42 underway here, and they're already fighting for the lead. Dylan Ault trying to get that 3rd stage win this season. Parker White wants his first right now on lap number 42. right up there next to that wall. At least they got that safer barrier out of the way, or they would be in the wall right now. Coming off turn 4, the 95 still leading here over the 40 and 19. 19 trying to keep him in the tire tracks there, but having some handling issues of his own. He'll lose them for a moment, back to a second gap between himself and Parker White as the 11 goes around just behind him. Blaze Brinkley spins it around there. He'll get it back going. Back in the front, lap number 44 in the books right now as they work their way in turn 1. Parker White still leading this thing, working around turns 1 and 2, really showing superior pace along the outside wall there. Listening to the driver conversations, that's what they were wanting when we were practicing here. They wanted that outside line, the top, to come to life. And it has right now, at least for a few of these drivers. Dylan Ault trying to find what that 95 has right now. And he's losing some time. They're now back to just under a second as the 11 gets into the 95, and that's going to take out the race leader. And now things cycle around. Nick Miller will inherit the race lead as the race leader gets caught up in a crash coming off turn number 2. Working on turn 4, now your series champion from season number 5 will take the stage after a crash collects the race leader. So caution out here, your stage winner is going to be Nick Miller after a crazy moment there right at the end of the stage. My goodness, we're gonna have to rack that back and take another look at that because we were watching the battle between Dylan Ault and the 95 Parker White. They were racing for that position. The gap was about a second between the 95 and the 40, and then the 11 was just stopped in the track and nowhere for the 95 to go in that situation, especially on dirt. There's no stopping these cars. And now as a result, able to get himself a stage win. First of the season, Nick Miller, your season 5 series champion. So now some drivers making pit stops here right now. Looking at the field, Dylan Ault, Rocky Boyd, Latham Joyner, Jordan Kuntz all heading to pit road here. A few others making stops as well. So very chaotic into that stage there, and we'll take another look at that here because that was quite something. I don't even know how to process what happened there, but we'll see if we can take another look at it here from, yeah, that was quite something. We're gonna go ahead and just take a moment here and just see if we can find exactly where that moment happened here. Bear with me as I try to find that moment there in our broadcast here. So you see here, we're watching the 19 and the 40. This is right around the race leader. Go and see if we can get our eyes on Parker White. There he is working his way through turns 1 and 2 here. You see him move past the lap car there, kicks it out, goes around again. And we should be getting to the last lap here of the stage. So this is about around the time the gap was about maybe 9/10 of a second between him and the 40. We'll go to a wider shot here, see if we can get a wider angle of this, and you see just not able to find it there. So I'll see if I can find a little further back here. This race has just kind of been not the best show, in my opinion. It's just not, you don't want to put on the caution fest, and that's not what you want to see here. We're just gonna have to try and work together and just be patient here as we get back going here. We'll go and just look at it from this perspective because, again, we were watching that 95 work his way through the field here, and yeah, just I don't know who will be able to find it here right now. We'll see if we can pull up a little bit later in the broadcast. So we'll look at that a little bit later. So pace car out on the track here, still behind the pace car because it's the 6th caution of the night. This one ending the stage, so this is one we're expecting to see here. We've had 5 in the opening 45 laps here, so that's not something. That's not a statistic you really want to have early in a race here. We still have over 100 laps, just over 100 laps to go in tonight's event, and well, I think, unfortunately, I think the trend will continue here because we're seeing the yellow flag come out fast and furious during the course of our race here. A lot of drivers still in the pits here getting serviced. Looks like about 11 cars left on a lead lap as well. So hopefully we'll see some green flag racing here. So some drivers getting serviced in the pits here. Long stops for them. There'll be multiple laps down once they come back out here. We'll see how that plays out for these drivers. They look to get the green flag. Nick Miller back out front. Usual pole sitter for tonight's race. Eric Keplinger up 7 positions, up 6 to be exact, because he'll fall back here as they get cycled around. Magnum Tate, Hunter Terpstra, Parker White, your top 5. Latham Joyner, Rocky Boyd, the 3rd. Dylan Ault, Zachary Thornton, and Blaze Brinkley completing the top 10. Expect the pace truck to make its way back into pit road here. Hopefully it'll stay in the pits for a little while here as we get the green flag and get back underway. Drivers just really like banging their cars against the side of the wall there. The 19 looking to try and drive away here. Pushing up the track though may open the door for Eric Keplinger to get a nice run down the backstretch, and he will do just that here, heading down to the low side of the track. Keplinger facing off with Nick Miller side by side here. Miller may get the advantage from the outside, but Keplinger gets a nice surge there. He'll get out ahead by just about a tenth as the 95 surges back into the picture here, trying to turn away from the 19 who got into the wall pretty hard there off the corner. He'll fall back to fourth as now Keplinger leads with the 95 into 5 of Magnum Tate inside the top 5 right now. Down to the low side of the track goes the 95. Following him is Tate as he calls the corner. Caution back out here for the 7th time this year. So caution back out here again for the 7th time this evening. And we'll see if we can get our eyes on what happened there. Aaron Brown slowly driving away from there, and more damage to his car. It's had a rough night here. You see kind of just everyone spun around there. We'll rack it back a little further to see if we can understand what happened in this incident. It seems like it all kind of starts here, coming off turn number 4. Now the track goes to 21. He's out of the way of this whole situation. He slides back to the track, and then things kind of touch off from there. Looks like the 18 is going to turn around there. The 12 spins out right in front of Jordan Kuntz, and just creates a bit of a stack up there. Kuntz can't get away from it, trying to drive away from it. Caution comes out here. So 54 laps into our 150-night affair here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Eric Keplinger leading the race with Parker White, Magnum Tate, Rocky Boyd, and Dylan Ault back inside the top 5. Again, going back to what we saw at the end of the stage, an incredible moment there where we saw the race leader end up in a crash as he was coming to try and take a stage win with Parker White. Not able to get stage win there. So again, what a moment for the race there is now the back kind of pace car yet again this evening. So right now we'll go ahead and rack it back. If we didn't get to see that incident back on lap number 45, we'll take a look at it here. We talked about what we saw from Parker White and what happened to him. This is coming to lap number 45 as he worked over around turns 1 and 2. You'll see him just kind of get caught up in a crash here right off the corner of the 11, right in the middle of the track. Nowhere for him to go. The 15 also stopped. The 40 also getting caught up in that, causing the 19 and the 34 to be able to drive through safely and avoid that crash. Multi-car incident there right before the end of the stage, dropping them back, and a lot of damage there to the 95. He is rebounded in the city in second. So right now, pace truck back out on the track. Race leader Eric Keplinger. When I step back onto the mic, I'll talk about the results from the last time we raced, which was at Dover Motor Speedway, and repeat victory for a driver who's done very well so far this season. Getting ready for the restart here. Lap number 57, Eric Keplinger back out front here this evening. And as I mentioned, we'll talk about exactly how the race at Dover went here in a moment as we get ready for the green flag. It's a great race over there. We saw a thrilling race to the end of the stage and a thrilling race to the end as well. We'll see if that action translates here to Bristol. Green flag back out. Lap number 58 underway. Trying to drive away from a hard charging Parker White as Eric Keplinger already being reeled back in by that black 95. Kicking it sideways there, teetering on the brink of spinning out. Not able to hold off that 95. He'll go back to the lead here, coming off turn number 3. 95 was on his way to a stage win, got that car fixed up, and now back out front leading this race. Rocky Boyd now getting a little bit of a physicality out of him there to 16. He's trying to fight off the 40 of Dylan Ault, who slides to the track there. It's Dale Jr. slide job here. Too wide down the backstretch as Keplinger fights with Rocky Boyd and Dylan Ault, bringing himself into the picture with Nick Miller. We're seeing drivers return to the front of the field right now as we now come to lap number 60, all getting smoked right now by Parker White, already out to a 1.6 second lead, and it's quickly accelerating in terms of how quick that lead is building right now. Our eyes on our race leader. There he is, working his way through turns 3 and 4. Let's compare him to the driver behind him right now. You see the differential in speed there right now. That Parker White machine is hooked up right now as they cross the line. There it is again. Parker White, a tremendous amount of speed there. Dylan Ault still trying to find a little more to catch up to him, but the lead is now 2.2 to the 95. They continue to race here to lead 2.2, now nearly 2.3. Dylan Ault having to fight for his position right now, but has some breathing room between himself and that Rocky Boy machine, which is up to 6 from the outside the top 10 there, now sitting in 3rd place, up 8 spots tonight into 16. And Nick Miller just seems like he's not able to hang with these drivers as much as the caution flag comes back out on lap number 63. He's not able to hang with them as much. When you're talking about being able to run with these leaders, he gets there, but he hasn't been able to take the fight to them as this race has gone on. Caution back out here for the 8th time this evening. Michael Rosero rejoined the field. A lot of damage. Jordan Kuntz, our points leader, coming into tonight's race and winner back at Dover Motor Speedway. Some issues there technically with iRacing. We'll go and see if we can take a look at what happened there. So Washington coming off here, looks like turn number 4 right now, down in turn number 1. Just see if we can understand what brought this instance. The 19 and the 18 getting into each other. It's a hard impact there. Nowhere for the 99 to go to 23 and trying to move through it. The 3 also getting involved in it. Eric Keplinger, who's having a good run right in front of us. And we'll look at it again. We saw Nick Miller also caught up in that incident. Looking at from above, great shot from above here. 18 working down past our finish line, gets into the wall. There was a shot there, and just up the track, there was both of those cars, the 19 into the 18, 99 nowhere for him to go. Keplinger will put a little bit of a dent there on the 99, trying to come to a stop. So back to live pictures here. It's caution number 8, lap number 65, and as I mentioned earlier, we'll talk about the results from our last race back at Dover Motor Speedway, which had more green flag racing than this race here this evening, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll go ahead and look at those results from our last race at Dover. Jordan Kuntz breaking through, going to victory lane, finishing just over a second ahead of Dylan Ault. That was an exciting race. When we talk about those two drivers, Dylan Ault and Jordan Kuntz, they were really the class of the field throughout that race. They battled really hard. Throughout the first stage, we saw the 40 actually get up there and nearly overtake the 99 for the lead, but handling issues, striking at the most inopportune time, coming out of turn 2, sending him to the back. As a result, able to drive back to the front and get himself the stage win after getting all that damage. Got that car fixed up back on the track and got himself stage victory, tying him with Jordan Kuntz in that regard. And then what was notable, Jordan Kuntz didn't have to worry about coming to pit road for a little bit. He stayed out there all the way to the end of the stage to save tires. That last tire set came into play when a caution came out right at the end, putting us in overtime, and the final pass was made right there through the middle of turns 3 and 4 to get Jordan Kuntz his 3rd victory this season, and of course being a repeat winner at Dover Motor Speedway. Getting ready for the green flag here, lap number 66. Pace truck is in. Parker White back out front. He has been fast when he's out front. Let's see if that trend continues here. Lap number 67 as they work around turns 1 and 2. Cars already into the wall, but solidly through 1 and 2 with our race leaders. The 19 trying to keep up with them. But the 40 and the 95 have something figured out here as they run right next to the wall, showering sparks coming off of turn number 4. Great shot there, thundering by us in turns 1 and 2. You can see the hands working. You know, we haven't done this in a while. I don't know if we did it during the last race at Dover. Let's go and hop in and see these drivers working here. Just out of frame there, you see the hands moving around a bit in the cockpit here as these cameras are a bit weirder now with these next-gen cars, but you just see them sawhorsing here, fighting with these cars, and that's going to be almost a sideways wrecking 95. He'll now lose the lead as Dylan Ault will grab the position away. But one time we hop in, lose the lead there as the 95 is now the 40 will regain the lead here. Seeing these two drivers dogfight for this race lead right now, have already checked out to 4 seconds over Rocky Boy. See him there. They got 3 cars in that battle. Jordan Kuntz now finally getting into the thick of things. He's at 14 spots now. He's finally gotten himself out of that hole he was in. He started way back in the field here, uncharacteristically far back in the field for him in the 99, your points leader. And he's also, as he catches the wall there, going to be our profile driver tonight, presented by Landon Mills Design. 6 starts this season already, as we've mentioned, 3 wins this season. An incredible start to season number 6 for the 99. 4 top 5s and 4 top 10s as well. Has won 3 of the last 5 races and wins coming at 3 distinctly different tracks. Atlanta Motor Speedway, Circuit of the Americas, and Dover Motor Speedway, a track that he has gone to victory lane at before, able to repeat there last week. So that is our profile driver here, presented by Landon Mills Design. You can learn more about Landon Mills Design by visiting their website at landonmills.com. 73 laps in, Jordan Kuntz sitting inside the top 5 here for one of the first times this evening. All of them trying to track down that driver right there, Dylan Ault, who is just scraping along that outside wall, using all that real estate. Watch this, zooming by us there on the high side of the track as the rest of the field tries to keep up with him there. These two drivers up front have something figured out here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lap time comparison between these two. Dylan Ault just a little bit faster there by about 2/10 the last time by. When the telemetry updates, it'll drop in right on the screen there. You'll see the latest data because they have left Nick Miller. It's already 6 seconds the lead between first and third position, excuse me. And you see the time beginning to reel itself in here. Parker White beginning to slowly draw in Dylan Ault into 40. A great fight for the lead here, potentially brewing. It's about a second gap between these two. Going further back in the field, looking inside the top 5, Jordan Kuntz has now moved into 4th position, getting ahead of Rocky Boy. Watching him here, last time these drivers were on pit road, lap number 63, up 15 spots here as Jordan Kuntz. Up 6 is Rocky Boy. So both of these drivers finding some speed here and working their way upward in the field this evening. Looking back a little further in the field as well, Latham Joyner also hanging on to things here. It's been a long night for him at this track, incredibly long for him here, but he's hanging on, keeping that top 10 spot alive. Sitting in the 7th position, he's gained 8 spots on the evening. So looking at the top 10, 8 of the 10 drivers inside the top 10 have gained at least 1 position so far here tonight. So right now, looking back at the race lead, holding steady at about 9/10 of a second between Dylan Ault and Parker White. Got lap traffic in front of him. Cody Webster, who has had a disastrous few weeks here, has finished the last 3 races 14th or worse for that 91, and now sitting in 16th position. A return to a full season campaign, not going the way the 91 planned right now for proximity racing. Just getting lapped again by that 40 is those drivers back there like 91, but still in hot pursuit, now cutting the lead in half. It's now half a second between the 40 and the 95 Parker White. Again, lap times here, there's the information. Lap 79 gaining 3/10 as the 40 had to work through lap traffic there. Another lap car to their inside. It is incredible seeing how they just slap the edge of these cars against that wall just to get all the speed they can. I think that last time you're going to see a bit of a bump there for Dylan Ault, finding a little bit of speed there. And there you go, pretty much wiping out the gains on lap 79. Lap 80, 3/10 slower for Parker White. This is a great battle for the race lead here. Parker White up 21 positions. We know Parker White has a tendency to basically kind of feign qualifying. He gets out there, he'll see how the track feels, but doesn't register a lap. Well, he started way in the back here. Now he is racing for the race lead here. Still holding that Dylan Ault machine just close enough, but slowly losing touch with him here as Dylan Ault continues to find some speed here. Now the gap 1.2 between them. It was as close as 4/10 of a second a few laps ago. So now as this field begins to thin out here a bit, because you see a number of drivers are out of this race here. You got drivers out all the way up to the top 10, and then only 5 cars left on the lead lap. This is really reminiscent of what we saw back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and unfortunately that just bothers me when I'm talking about calling a race. When you have that many cars off the lead lap and out of the race, it really diminishes the amount of on-track action you're seeing because there are so few cars jockeying for position. As you see there on the ticker, so many cars one lap down here. Only 5 cars left on the lead lap, and the tail end of the lead lap here. Rocky Boyd and the 99 of Jordan Kuntz. You see Mike Rosero, he's 1 lap down in the 8th position, has a couple of cars ahead of him to be able to get that free pass. Really just a challenging night for these drivers here at this track, and really not much else you can say there. Just a difficult night for some of these drivers, but others trying to make the best of it. One of them being Jordan Kuntz. I know we talk about him a lot, but the storyline is right now, you know, he's having an incredible season. Just behind him, you see just out of frame, just behind him, that's the race leader, not too far away from these drivers. As Rocky Boyd goes to the low side of the track. Dylan Ault now working through the same section of the track. So Rocky Boyd in danger of going 1 lap down here. It's a very, very interesting evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We've had nearly a dozen cautions across 87 laps. This is one of the longest green flag runs we've had here this evening. As we watch these drivers fight for position, the 40 gets into the wall there, gets really sideways. He's going to open the door for Parker White to close up, and he will, closing the lead down to 0.2 of a second. Working now through turns 1 and 2, right up against that wall there, swinging the camera around so you can see that. They head down the backstretch here. This is the closest they've been in a while, about a dozen or so laps. This is about the closest they've been so far this evening, in the lead now holding right now 0.2 as they negotiate traffic. Rocky Boyd in 5th position. Next car that could go 1 lap down here. Lap number 89. The 40 running a slightly different line there. The 95 committed to the outside line right next to the wall, costing us some time. They're a little bit sluggish because of that wall, maybe that contact slowing them down a bit. And now you see the 40 fighting his way through the middle, and he'll do just that. Powering through to grab the positions away and move through the lap traffic. He'll get the position in terms of placing on the track, and he'll continue to hold the lead. And Parker White trying to capitalize when lap traffic presents challenges to the race leader. Man alive, sideways, kicking that thing out, trying to hold back Parker White coming down the straight. It's now a 1/10.5 between these two. They're practically, they can wave at each other right now, and they can. Banging doors here. Coming off turn 2. Power move to the front. Parker White grabs the lead on lap number 91. Using some muscle there and using the lap traffic to his advantage. He'll get to the lead here, and now he'll have to play the defensive game to keep the 40 at bay. Great racing here as the car smoking there gets the wall, trying to hang on to that car. That's the 19 of Nick Miller. The next car in danger of going 1 lap down. They'll ride that wall there. You know, back in NASCAR 09, it was kind of like okay to get some speed and ride the wall there. I'm wondering how much that's helping these drivers here being able to kick those cars into the wall. They're practically throwing their cars into the wall here to try and keep each other behind them. And you see the 40 closing up ever so closely. Now it's back to about a 1/10.5, hovering around 0.2 coming off turn number 4 as traffic continues to be a challenge these drivers need to overcome in this battle. Down to the low side, will they bang doors here? Not quite yet coming off turn 2. The 95 will settle in, single file lap car to his inside there. You know, last time we were here, it was 110 laps where we would be near the end of this event, but not quite yet. We still have just over 50 laps left in our evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway. I'm sure for some of these drivers, it is 50 long, arduous laps to try and survive here, but there are others who are capitalizing on the evening as we watch this battle cool down a bit. The drivers will point out and look through the field and look at right now, one of them being an 84 of Alexander Hayter. He's been going pretty good so far this season here, finding some pace, getting a little more consistent as the season goes on. 3 straight top 10s in the last 4 races for the driver of that 84 car. Still, his best finish this season was 3rd at Daytona, and he got that stage win a couple weeks ago back at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. As we'll go and jump back and look at the race lead here, we got that brewing again as they fight hard again. We'll profile a few more drivers as we get a little further into the race, but this action for the lead is spicing back up here. Spice is basically just a bit of a clay and some dirt sprinkled on this evening here, because now Dylan Ault adding some fuel to this fire and this fight for the lead. Down to the inside goes the 95. He'll grab it back after the power move through 3 and 4 from Dylan Ault. They're laying it all out here. These are 2 talented racers right now. I've watched both of these drivers really throw it all out there, and they know how to sling these cars around, and they're doing everything they can to keep each other at bay. Look at this clean move right across the back bumper of the 40. Back out front goes Parker White. That was slick there. Down to the low side, he'll power back to the lead. Soon we're going to reach the century mark in the race here. Down low, up high, back down low goes the 95. He'll grab the spot away again. They're trading places. It's musical chairs here in Bristol. This century mark here at the track, and we're counting down to 50 to go after this. Coming off turn number 2, great battle for the lead continues to brew here as now Jordan Kuntz at risk of going one lap down. Literally soon enough, the only 2 cars on the lead lap may be the 2 cars we're watching fight for the lead here. Jordan Kuntz, as we profiled earlier, a tremendous season, has been very consistent so far, and even though he may go a lap down here in a few moments to these incredibly fast cars in the 95 and the 40, doesn't distract from what's been a great start to his season so far, currently sitting on a podium, having gained 16 positions this evening. Continuing to watch this battle for the lead here, lap number 102 here on the track, and haven't seen that crossover move like we've seen before for the last couple of laps. That was some incredible racing there. Seeing these drivers literally walk up the steps to get the position they need and then walk back down when they know they can get the drive off to get the position back. Great back and forth racing here. You may see more of it here. Lap number 103. Side by side again coming through turns 1 and 2. Great side-by-side battle. Jordan Kuntz just in frame there, just ahead. Dylan Ault slides up the track and will leave the door open for the 95. Not quite the way he wanted to try and get it back. They're going to fight like hell coming across the line. Lap 104, narrowly leading that lap, I think, was Dylan Ault. As now they'll trade places again. To the low side of the track goes to 95. Gets the position back and will gain about 0.3 of a second for his efforts. Back single file here, now needs to reevaluate the position. Back on defense is the 95, on offense is the 40. Pretty clear track as well, only 3 cars left on the lead lap, 2 cars 1 lap down, 2 cars 2 laps down, and then 3 laps down for Latham Joyner, and then significantly behind the pace is 9th, 10th on back, and unfortunately it looks like when I look at the ticker there, you've got drivers from 11th on back either out of the race or in the pits, and that's unfortunately not something you want to see here. You want to see more cars run on the track, and it's unfortunately a trend that's kind of been recurring here this season, and it's disappointing. You want to see a lot of on-track racing action. You want to see, as they say in F1, you want to see the mid-pack battle. You want to see the midfield drivers duking it out. Not really seeing much of that here, considering how many drivers are off sequence here, but we got a great battle for the lead brewing as we continue to watch at the front. Lap number 107 sliding up right across the bumper of the 95. That's going to cost him a little time there, and he'll surge back and get it. Not going to lose much time at all, as I thought. He'll close back up, get to within about a 10th and a half rather, and they'll get side by side here, likely coming across the line. No, not able to hold the momentum he needs. Coming off 4, they'll get single file going back into turn number 1. Single file racing as these drivers continue to have the 99 right in front of them right now. That's the last car on the lead lap among these 3. That is an incredible statistic when you think about it. How many drivers are out of this race, currently parked in the pits or multiple laps down right now. You see it on the left side of your screen there. Only 3 cars left on the lead lap. 2 of them fighting for the lead, the other fighting to stay on the lead lap here, and it may be a futile struggle as the 40 gets to his inside. That will now lap Jordan Kuntz. So only 2 cars left on the lead lap, and those 2 cars happen to be racing for what could be the win here this evening. So still now back out front, the 40 leading this race here. The 95 has to figure out what his plan is going to be to get the lead back. Doing a good job of keeping him in the tire tracks there. They work off of turn number 3 and 4. We'll get our eyes on Dylan Ault and compare the lap times again. And let's let him cross the line and let's see what we can glean from this. We'll keep it on the screen for a couple of laps to see if we get an understanding of the pace right now. Parker White about 0.2 slower than Dylan Ault right there. The gap growing to 0.4 of a second between the pair of them right now. Let's see if that 95 is able to claw that back here. Man, they are just bashing these cars against that concrete barrier. That's not safer barrier here. That is concrete. That is straight up rock there. They're slinging this car against them. Really a negligible gain there for the drivers there. Only 0.05 sorry, .005, only a few thousandths gained there by Parker White on Dylan Ault. Let's see if that goes up a little more here, but as you see on the side, the telemetry continuing to go in the favor of Dylan Ault here. It comes in down about a tenth and a half for that 95 car. So needing to figure something out here because he's beginning to lose touch again with the 40 car of Dylan Ault, and we've seen the Parker White be able to try and drive back up on the leader when lap traffic has been a big factor here. But looking at the way things have really thinned out during the course of this race, man, that's hard to find right now for the 95. It's pretty much clear real estate for him as you watch him head off toward turn 3, but he is catching that wall there. Is not going to also serve to be a hindrance for that guy leading the race either. He's got pretty much clear real estate for him right now. We'll hop in and look through his windshield. No real obstructions for him right now as he works his way through 1 and 2. That means it's going to be maybe a little harder for that machine to catch up to him in the 95, but right now the caution back out here again for the 9th time this evening. It's the first time we've had a caution in a while. Now back behind the pace car again. This will allow Jordan Coons to get back on the lead lap. See the zero there. I think Justin Rector may have also been called to Jordan. Take a look at the replay and see if we can glean from that. You see Jordan Coons down the low side of the track. Let's keep our eyes on maybe what could have happened here. Justin Rector sideways there right into the path of the 23, and that'll put us behind the pace car again for the 9th time this evening. Trying to fight to get back going there. You know, it reminds me when the drivers were in the rain last Saturday and they're trying to fight to get those cars back going. It can be an arduous task. Back to live pictures here. Drivers making pit stops. It's Dylan Ault heading into the pits right now. I think Dylan Ault's going to stay out on the track right now. And I mentioned Jordan Coons should be the wave around car. So I'm going to step away, get a drink, and when we get back, I'll go and talk about the standings right now, as we run coming into tonight's race, and look at our schedule of races coming up here. We'll stay here for one more week to do some asphalt racing. So we see cars taking the wave around here right now as we wait behind the pace car. Should get the restart right around, hopefully lap number 120, 121 potentially. That'll give us a chance to go and talk about some of the things that have happened over the last few weeks, one of them being our point standing. Let's take a look at that right now and show you that. That's Jordan Coons leading the points coming into tonight's race, 52, ahead of Luke Lofaro, who's had a pretty good season. Alexander Hayter, as we talked about earlier, a good run for him, sitting in 9th position on the track. He's 3rd in the points right now. Malachi Drake, Zachary Thornton tied for the 4th position. And thanks to that win back at Dover Motor Speedway for Jordan Coons, helping extend that lead here and now find himself in 3rd position as we run right now on lap number 119. As the pace car lights remain on right now, we'll go and take a look at the schedule of events coming up on the channel for us here, and a lot of good tracks coming up. We'll stay here for the next week going to the asphalt track. So unlike real life, they're going to move through and get all this dirt out here real quick, and we'll be able to run on the asphalt track 1 week from today. In the Jones Racing Subs race night, 160 laps around this track for these drivers. We'll hope and we'll freaking pray. We will pray for some green flag racing and some excitement here on the track with some great passing. This will set up nicely for our all-star race at Nashville Super Speedway, and then the Drake Breaks 158 at Las Vegas, Darlington, Homestead, Michigan, Richmond, and New Hampshire will serve as our catalyst to get us to the playoffs here in only a few weeks. So slowly but surely, we're getting to the playoffs here, and we'll see how this all plays out. But getting ready for the green flag here on lap number 121. They'll get the restart. Dylan Ault is the race leader. He'll have to fight with Parker White again. It was a great fight last time we watched it. Let's see what the future holds. Coming to lap number 121. The pace truck is in. We're back on the way here at Bristol. Love that shot. The sparks showering on us here in the booth virtually as they run off into turn number 3. Nice jump there for Dylan Ault. He'll get a nice lead there going into turns 3 and 4, trying to find that speed he needs. Dropping it down the track is the 95 Parker White. Wrap with a back bumper. That 40 nearly got there, but now loses some time to that car. Is now he'll try and catch back up to him. About 0.5 of a second. Now 6 as they work off turn number 3. Jordan Coons back on the lead lap here as well, so he was the lucky dog recipient, so he will get back on the lead lap. The caution comes out here again, and the driver's not involved. Rocky Boyd will look to get his lap back here and rejoin the leaders. Of course, it's a challenge for you if you're in this position trying to get back and try and catch up to these drivers, but he's already 4 seconds behind right now is Jordan Coons. It's because he had to start a tail end along his line as being the recipient of the lucky dog. Back up front, 1.2 second lead for Dylan Ault. Parker White trying to figure out what he can do to close his gap here. I think now stretched down to 5 seconds of the Jordan Coons, the lucky dog recipient. Looking at the lap time history, about 0.3 of a second difference last time by. With the updated data for lap number 124, you see it populate in there about 1/10, roughly about 1/3 seconds there between these drivers. I'm sorry, 1/3 tenths between these drivers here. On lap 124, we'll see the train continues here. You can see the gap beginning to build between the 95 and the 40. And this seems like Dylan Ault really has his place figured out with 25 laps to go here at Bristol. We go back to something we discussed at the start of the race is the last time we were here, which was season 4 in the old Cup car. These drivers swung these cars around here pretty nicely and were able to find the speed they needed to get the job done. The one who did it the best, that driver right there, driver of the 40, led 83 of 110 laps to get himself the victory, and now finding that momentum again, already out to a 2-second lead, and Parker White not able to match that pace. Now 24 to go, the lead now holding right around 2 seconds, dropping a bit there. Seemed like that 40 got locked up on that wall a bit, couldn't get off there. It's really, you're just riding a razor's edge here. Great shot there. You see how close they are to that wall. Many times throughout the course of our night here, we've seen them just shower sparks off that wall there. There it is, more sparks coming off there as they work through turns 3 and 4. You're really just riding the razor's edge, and you're trying to keep that car from snapping back to the right and locking into that wall and really slowing your momentum down. When that happens, what I've noticed is you kind of lose about 3 to 4 tenths there if you're not able to get the momentum back very quickly. And we've seen that fluctuate here and there between the 40 and 95, and now the 95 really just kind of losing touch now with Dylan Ault as with 21 laps to go right now. And the lead is now 2.4 seconds between Dylan Ault and Parker White. Jordan Coons got Alexander Hayter in front of him. Alexander Hayter is 18 laps down in the 8th position, so he'll still likely walk out of here with a top 10 with only a few cars left running in tonight's race. And again, really disappointing to see this few cars left here, especially with the size of the field we had for this evening's race. Nearly 2 dozen cars turning out to sling dirt here on the simulator, and now only going to finish with a handful of those drivers finishing the event here tonight. Nick Miller out in the 7th position, and then further up you see Rosero, Keplinger, Boyd also laps down Jordan Coons last corner, lap 8 seconds back. 19 to go right now. Cody Webster just ahead of them. Cody Webster struggling here right now. The last 3 races for him. Not that I want to dogpile on him. I know he knows the struggles he's been having. Last 3 races he's finished 14th or worse. Finished 14th twice, along with an 18th place finish a couple weeks ago. For him, it's about trying to turn his season around, and right now he's looking to have one of his best runs of the season since getting some top 10s earlier in the year, but that's still well outside the top 10. Now moving up to 11th, looks like right now. We'll see if he can gain a little more, but he is well behind the 8 ball here. He may be able to squeak in and get a top 10 depending on how things work out, but he may be too many laps behind to make that happen. We'll keep an eye on it, but Cody Webster needs to find something here if he wants to be part of the championship picture, because he's slowly descending down the standing. He's currently 9th right now, 105 points behind first place Jordan Coons. Back in front, the car is stalking him right now. That dirt-covered Coca-Cola machine working off of turn number 2. is Dylan Ault right now out to a 4-second lead. He's already got a 10-second advantage over Jordan Kuntz right now. Remember, we got the restart right around lap number 116, 117. It was the last time we saw these drivers on pit road. Some of the drivers did come in a little bit ago, but right around 116, 117, we saw these drivers come in. No tires changed for them, so you know, the pace that we're seeing the 40 car run right now is just unmatched, and it just reflects what we saw, not just here, but back during the Truck Series season. We saw the 40 car be one of those really fast cars on dirt here. Knowing how to sling these cars around is a skill on itself, and we see Dylan Ault really showcasing his abilities here, and also giving us a great show earlier in the race with that fight between himself and Parker White. That's what you love to see here in the series. Great dog fights for position. And now that's cooled down significantly here as Parker White looks to try to hang on for the second position as Dylan Ault cruises away to a 5-second lead. Jordan Kuntz, last car on the lead lap, currently 13.2 seconds behind right now. So right now he's now working his way past the 91, who was many laps down here. That's Cody Webster, 55 laps down here this evening. And then further back there you see just a different place of the track, but also one lap down, hoping to get that caution to get back on the lead lap. Rocky Boyd the third, and then Eric Keplinger, the top 5. Keplinger down 3 laps right now on the track, so he need a little more there. He's got some damage on that car. Maybe lose another lap here as a race leader. Closes in right behind him there on the high side of the track. That red car is our race leader. Dylan Ault with the yellow car on the inside. That's Eric Keplinger. Everyone just trying to survive here. This is probably one of the races where we probably have the fewest cars finishing the event here, like we had at Atlanta. Very small number of drivers finishing the night at that track, and the same thing playing out here this evening at Bristol Dirt. We're hopeful to have a more exciting experience for you, we'll put it that way, when we come back here next week for some more short track racing on the asphalt version of this track, which, you know, always produces great excitement here, but you want to see more cars running. You want to be able to tell more drivers' stories over the course of an evening, and tonight we haven't been able to tell many stories as a lot of drivers had some bad luck here and just weren't able to survive what was a crazy night on dirt, but others really rising to the occasion. Dylan Ault faced a lot of challenges here this season. One of them was just overcoming some bad luck. The one that really jumps out to me is back at Circuit of the Americas. Watching him fly around that track and really set a blistering lap time in his 40 car, got the pole at that track, just to have a shifting issue or a handling issue, some sort of issue on the outset. The first lap, first turn, doing a lot of damage to his car and relegating him out of the race, a race that he won the last time he run there in season number 4 and was a likely favorite to win there again. And then we talk about just circumstances, timing, involved in a crash back at Bristol Motor Speedway in a battle with Jordan Kuntz. No contact or anything, just a handling issue. Car got away from him on the low side of the track, working through turn 2, and eventually got into the wall. There, a lot of damage to his car, had to go to the back, drove to the front using fresh tires, which benefited Jordan Kuntz, who stayed out and did not come to pit road. Dylan Ault likely having to use that set to get him back to the front. Did win the stage. That ties him with Jordan Kuntz in terms of his number of stage wins this season at 2 apiece. But right at the end of the race, after leading so many laps in that race, he led a really astonishing number there in that race, and it was very impressive to see him do that. Nearly 90 laps under his belt. He got the job done there in that regard, but a late caution for it. Overtime restart as he now has to deal with Rocky Boyd getting into him, but the gap is really, really insurmountable right now for Parker White unless that 40 car comes to a complete stop. So Rocky Boyd now down 2 laps. Jordan Kuntz in danger of going a lap down again after just unlapping himself not 20 laps ago, as Rocky Boyd now gets into the barriers there right off of the pit road entry area. But as I was saying, the strategy called by Jordan Kuntz to not take tires during stage 1, playing to his benefit with that late overtime restart. He was able to drive to the front and fight off the 40 to be able to get that victory in the last turn of that race, his third of the season. That 40 car finishing second and now trying to finish one position better. And we'll do it by trying to lap that car just ahead of him, the guy who beat him last time at this track. Now he'll get the the feeling of accomplishment to be able to put that driver a lap down, even though that is third place. He is just lapped there, which is an incredible feat in itself, considering how fast they've been flying around here. They have now been able to lap all the way up to the second position. Currently on the lead lap still is Parker White as the white flag comes out. Last lap here, presented by Cory Harts Media. As I've been talking about and singing the praises of Dylan Ault, really laying it on here this evening here at Bristol. He won this race in commanding fashion last time. We had 2 stages last time we were here. This season we only have 1. He wasn't able to win that stage, but he'll win the race and go back to back on dirt. Dylan Ault will go to victory lane here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Parker White will finish in the second position with Jordan Kuntz rounding out the podium. Great work there from Dylan Ault getting the victory here in what was a chaotic race at Bristol Motor Speedway. One of the more chaotic ones I've had to call this season and in my career as a commentator here on Twitch, but thank God it's over. It's over, and that driver comes with a victory again. Another win for him in his career here in the series. Coming in to this race, he had over a dozen wins to be exact. To be the exact number, because we always love exact numbers. 13 wins, make it 14. For Dylan Ault here now getting the victory on dirt. It's what he did back in March, and he'll do it again here this evening. So we'll look to start talking to some of these drivers in the post-race interviews, because it was quite the event here this evening at Bristol Motor Speedway. And, you know, it was one of those races where you want to say it's one of those you want to hopefully move on and forget after the outcomes we saw, but we'll try and get some insight from these drivers and begin bringing them in one by one. The first driver we'll bring in here to be the driver of that 34 car, Eric Keplinger, finishing 5th, surviving a chaotic race. They're gained 3 spots this evening. Eric Keplinger, what are your thoughts on tonight's race?
It was certainly based on my endurance. My my legs hurt after that one. Yeah, it was just a lot of work just to keep the car clean and to keep it in front. I know, especially at the end, if you just ride the top or just touch the top lane, your car spins out like ice. It was like I said, it was endurance, and luckily I was one of the ones that made it to the end. I just got lucky since some people got taken out in crashes. I got caught up in a few crashes tonight, but I feel like a lot of people wrecked anyways in a couple of crashes at least tonight. So, hey, I'm just glad I got a top 5. I've had a great streak. I've led laps in like almost all my last races because I led at Auto Club, great performance there. Did it Dakota. Then we did Dover. I almost led laps there. I was second for some time, and then I led laps here tonight and finished 5th. I'm on a good run. I'm happy for that, and I just can't wait for the rest of the season. Can't wait for next week at Bristol.
Yeah, you got 4 top 10s now this season. You're kind of getting yourself into the picture here as we get closer to the midpoint of the season. And the last question I got for you is, what was the hardest part of tonight's race in terms of driving these cars on this track, this next-gen car?
Just trying get the right lane. It's just so hard because your car just slides, and then I know damage came in some account. It's just you gotta know where to run on the racetrack and be able to get your car there because it was just time after time you would slide up, and then like I said, you just get the outside lane and just spin. It just sucked, but I'm lucky made it through it. So I'm just thankful, just happy with this tonight's great finish.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy another top 5 here this evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway?
I want to give a shout out to you. Thank you for broadcasting this. Shout out to Cody Webster for putting this league on. Thank you for everybody races and all of my friends as well. I'm thinking about running a it's the soup car because I ran in the truck series. I'm thinking about putting that nice red livery in my car.
Oh, I appreciate it. Always good talking to you, and look forward to seeing what you do when we stay here. Not going anywhere. We'll run the asphalt track next week. Congratulations again.
Thank you. See you next week.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews here. The next driver we'll bring in, we the driver of that 16 car, Rocky Boyd, who really had an up and down night, but still was able to profit, finishing in the 4th position, gaining 7 positions. Rocky Boyd, do you got us?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Talk to us about tonight. What was that race like, and what was your experience like here at the Bristol Motor Speedway?
Well, it was rough. I mean, just the track went away after about 30-ish laps, and it was just everybody trying to hold on at that point.
For you, what was the most challenging aspect of this next-gen car on the dirt track for you?
Just trying to keep it from going around in turn 1 and 2 at the top. if you ran the top up there's a rut like halfway through the corner, and it just seemed to over rotate once you went up there. So you just kind of had to hold on and pray at that point.
So for you, we're running the asphalt track next week. We know some drivers are running a part-time campaign. If you decide to join us for that race, what are your thoughts on the asphalt track, and how do you feel like you'll be able to run this next gen car here on the concrete track?
I'm gonna try and make it. If I do get the chance to run, I think we'll be really good. I really like the next gen car at asphalt Bristol compared to the dirt track. And Bristol's a really fun track. It's gonna be a lot of hard, close racing. I think it'll be pretty entertaining.
Gotcha. Well, always good hearing from you. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy a top 5 finish here at Bristol?
Yeah, I gotta thank all the guys at Jarris Racing and Jones Racing Setups. They didn't build the setup for this race as it was a fixed race, but they stay behind me and allow me to come out here and race with guys like Dylan and Parker and Jordan and all those guys, and it was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, always good hearing from you. Look forward to seeing what you do when we run the asphalt version of this place. We'll rip all this dirt up somehow virtually in a week and run some asphalt racing here next week. So congratulations again.
Thank you, sir, and you have a great night.
You as well. Thank you. So now we'll get to our podium placement. The next driver we'll bring in is the driver of the 99, Jordan Kuntz, your points leader coming into tonight's race. A good race for him, coming up 16 positions to finish third. Jordan Kuntz, do you got us?
Yes, I do.
Talk to us about that race. What are your thoughts on the dirt track and your fight for survival here, being able to get a top 3 finish?
Well, for the first half of the race, it just all about surviving. I know I got caught up in many wrecks, but I managed to not get bad damage and actually use my fast repair and just managed to survive. After that, it was just about trying to fight the track and not spin out. I couldn't really work any lane. I was more of a hazard out on the track. So just surprised that I finished top 3 and even the race.
So now we turn our attention to switching over to the asphalt track next week. Have you gotten experience on the asphalt track, and what are your thoughts on piloting the next gen car on that track?
Yeah, I have no experience, no practice, and I'm going to go into it blind, and I'm hoping that it ain't snapping loose on the exit. That'd be nice.
I would like to hope that it's not that either, because that means we get some green flag racing. So, with that, we know you're our points leader, and you will likely retain that going into the race next week. So, congratulations in that regard. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy another podium finish, an incredible start to your season?
Shout out to everyone at Proximity Racing, all their sponsors, the Bruzy Race for USA, Cory Harts Media, and I would just like to give props to Dylan Ault and Parker White for putting on a good show. They seem to be the only two that could actually race and not wreck.
Yeah, it was a great show for us to watch them contend here, and we look forward to seeing what you do when we head to Bristol next week. The asphalt track, because you've been on a hot streak, you'll be certainly one to watch. So congratulations again. Back on the podium is Jordan Kuntz.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving through our interviews here. The next driver we'll bring in is the driver of the 95, Parker White, who had a great showing out here this evening. One of those drivers we always talk about because they find their way to the front by not qualifying, faking me out, thinking they're qualifying, they actually aren't. Gaining 21 positions this evening, Parker White in the 95. You got us.
Yeah, guy.
Talk to us about that race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Aside from all the incidents that were happening around the track, you put on a great fight with Dylan Ault. Talk to us about that and how you were able to swing that car around from the high side to low side to play defense and get the lead back.
Yeah, that was a very fun race. I've never driven this car before on dirt, so
I'm
I
sorry,
kind of
you
went in
haven't?
blind. No, I've never driven this
Oh,
car.
well,
So
had me fooled.
yeah, like I had no clue what I was doing, but I feel like I caught on pretty quick in practice. So, um, like it was completely different from the truck because I've driven the truck a ton here, but it was kind of fun because we could actually run the bottom and the top. Eventually, the top just came in, and I felt like that's when I was best. But then at the very end of the race, when the track was fully slicked off, I couldn't run the top at all. So um, it was just playing the lines right. A lot of throttle, or not really a lot of throttle control, but a lot of I don't know how to put it, but we had to wheel the car a ton just to keep it straight because of all the ruts. But yeah, I felt like I was driving the car a lot more than I could race, or I was racing the car more than I could other cars. So
Hmm.
um, I have no clue how I was able to run that good, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it was impressive to see you run out there. Very good racing between you and Dylan Ault. And we know you're running kind of a part-time campaign, but I would like to get your thoughts on the asphalt track. Do you have experience running the next gen car on that concrete track? And if so, what are your insights? What do you think would be something drivers need to know and understand about running here?
Um, like I'll be honest with you, this car is my least favorite car in the game, so I've never driven it on the
It's
asphalt.
fine, mine too. Oh, who said that?
Yeah.
Sorry. What? No, sorry.
Yeah. Like I don't really know what to expect. Like I just
Mm,
hate the way the car drives, so I'd imagine or it might be fun for some people, but I know it
right.
wouldn't be fun for me. So I really can't answer that question.
Gotcha. Well, it was great watching you guys duel and battle out there, and ultimately you gaining 21 positions, most of anyone on the track. That's nothing unusual for you because you do that often when you race with us. So, an impressive night for you. Anyone you want to shout out or mention as you enjoy a runner-up finish here at Bristol?
Yeah, I just gotta thank you, Mike, for the broadcast, Cody, all the admins at Redline, North Source Racing, and SRD.
Awesome. Well, always good talking to you and look forward to seeing what you do when you join us again. Hopefully, we'll see you next week when we run the concrete track. But in any case, congratulations on a great second place finish.
All right, thank you.
All right, and that means we'll bring in our race winner, Dylan Ault, who had put on a great show here. Kind of a repeat of what we saw back in season 4, where he led almost 90 laps of that track. This time he'll lead another hefty number and get himself another victory here, going back to back on dirt. It's Dylan Ault, your winner here this evening. Talk to us, Dylan, about tonight and how crazy this race was and that battle you had with Parker White.
Yeah, tonight was really fun when we actually got green.
There
Once
was
the
green flag racing in
track,
this race? What? Oh, I didn't see
yeah.
it.
So, yeah, once the track got worn down a lot, it was just all the way on the top and just used the top the entire time. It was really fun when me and Parker we were just going back and forth, just slider after slider, and the the cushion was odd. I don't remember in Coke or any of my testing, I would actually get we would do this many laps, so I didn't understand how on entry the car would just boom, 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 and then if you weren't off the throttle soon enough, then you would just slam the wall and then you could
Mm,
not get off of it all at all. Or some laps, the cushion would just be good enough where you just slam throttle and keep it full throttle the entire way around the corner
mm,
for 20 laps or so, I was just full throttle on entry and exit. I was never letting
mm.
off the throttle. Um, but yeah, later in the run, it got bumpier and bumpier and bumpier, and it was harder to stay off the wall. But other than that, it was a really fun race. Yeah, just that battle with Parker just made that race so much fun.
It gave you something to talk about finally. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The
Yeah.
race was great. So, for those who may not understand dirt racing, don't really follow it, when you say the term cushion, what are you referring to and how does it benefit or hurt the car? Talk about what a cushion is.
More laps you run on the track, the dirt flies up to the wall, and that's where all of the dirt marbles will collect, and it'll form kind of a slope, like a mountain or whatever. And it it's where you want to be on the track because it
Mm,
gives you so much grip, so much
mm,
speed around the corner, and it's just adds more banking, and it's like a pillow. Just go on there and just rip off the corner. Some people
certainly.
like Parker. Yeah,
Mm,
Parker long run. He because me and him were on the same call. I asked him what he was doing because he was actually catching up to me on speed, and he said he was just entering shallow and slide up and use the cushion and drive off straight. Me,
mm.
I would enter on the cushion on entry, stay on the cushion the rest of the way around the corner, and just carry speed. So yeah.
Yeah, you looked really speedy out there. Now we'll take all this dirt away. We'll run the concrete track. What are your thoughts on that track? I assume you have some experience there, some knowledge. What do you expect to bring out of these cars? What do you think is something you need to understand to be able to run well here on the concrete track next week?
Oof, Bristol on the concrete is not one of my best tracks. I don't I've never raced the next gen at that track, but I've had decent finishes there. I've had some wins, but I'm not really looking forward to understanding how to save tires there. But hopefully that we do get a long run and I learn how to save tires because I think it'll help me a lot for Dover, for the Coke series. But yeah,
Mm.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Coca-Cola. I'd like to thank Steve Latar, Lowline Racing. Shout out to my Twitch, alt_F4. Ryan White from being a crew chief for this race, and my parents, and you for broadcasting this.
Awesome. And see, he already knows how this goes. You got to get to the sponsor. You know that's the next question. So he's already got that mindset in place. So congratulations again, going to victory lane, building on, I think the last time you won was season 5 back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway toward the end of that season. So another victory for you, number 14, I think, so far here in the league. So congratulations. And we'll see what you do. And we rip up all this dirt and go concrete racing here next week.
Finally, I got another win. Hopefully, I can get back to back. Bristol.
We will certainly keep our eyes on you next week. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap up our interviews here for what was a crazy night here at Bristol Motor Speedway. You know, I don't know if it was a full moon or something, but things just didn't want to work right all the way from the start of the broadcast. Technical issues, sound issues, things like that. So I apologize for that. I wish we had a little more green flag racing, but the racing we did get was really, really exciting. Seeing Parker White and Dylan Ault be able to jockey for position, as you heard him describe, using that cushion to get the momentum and speed he needed, and most importantly, that grip on this slick dirt to get his advantage there. Now we'll run on the I guess the alternative track here, the concrete track, next week. I'm really excited to see how these drivers handle getting back to asphalt and regular surface racing. And you know, this next gen car brings so many unknowns. It feels like every time we bring up this setup presented by Jones Racing Setups, we're always talking about what unknowns this car is going to bring to whatever track we're running at, and that's going to continue here. And we're hopeful we'll see some green flag racing. So with that, congratulations to Dylan Ault going to victory lane, breaking through after coming so close the last few weeks, including last week back at Dover. We'll be back here at this exact track, different configuration, 1 week from today to do some racing in, the Jones Racing Setups race night. So again, congratulations, Dylan Ault, Parker White, Jordan Kuntz, your podium here at Bristol.